Welcome back to the newspaper review on High Impact 102.1 FM, your urban lifestyle station. I will took you through the front pages of the major newspaper in the country: the Punch, the Vanguard, the Guardian newspaper, and the Daily Trust newspaper. And here we have our analyst already, Dr. Kayode. Good morning, Dr. Kayode.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. How are you as well?
It's a bright new day.
It is
very funny.
It is a bright new day.
Yeah.
It is after the rain and the heavy downpours all around the country.
Yeah.
Yes, come sunshine.
Come sunshine.
Yes. So
after this darkness, light will come.
Yeah, there's light at the end of the tunnel.
There's light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you so much. So let's go right into the front pages of the newspaper. Well, let's look at Vanguard newspaper. We have mixed. The major story on the Vanguard newspaper is that we have mixed reactions as Atiku will be head to Supreme Court. Mixed reactions as Atiku will be head to Supreme Court. And the writer to that story says, "I won't validate mandate banditry," Atiku says. And he also adds that we've lost a battle. There is war ahead. I'm going to ask this general question right now. I really want to have your take on the tribunal judgment. What do you see to it? How has it been when you heard that, okay, this person has won, this person has been declared the winner? What was your take on the tribunal judgment?
You see, interestingly, I glued myself to the television for a greater part of the judgment delivery. And I will just come up with some very few because you said you don't have time, which I said we must look for one day. Now, the first one that puzzled me was overriding sequential events as being dictated by the Constitution to intention. Because he mentioned it. He said we should forget at the sequence, but let us look at the intention. And that has to do with the double nomination of Mr. Shetima. All right? Truly, he said, yes, the case was proven. They brought in, PDP candidate brought in certified copies of different things on that particular issue. So it is now funny that our constitution can be set aside because of somebody's intention. It's an intention in terms of, yes, when he heard about his nomination, he now has to go and resign, he has to do this, he has to write a letter. Is that what we are talking about? Or we are talking about constitutionality as being dictated to our democratic tenets? That is one. Two, how can you set aside Supreme Court judgments? Two different Supreme Court judgments on an issue, and that has to do with 35% in Abuja. The Supreme Court made the proclamation after Obasanjo versus Buhari that Obasanjo need not win outrightly in Abuja, that the only thing required by the Constitution was 25%. In the case again between same Buhari, I think Yaradua, the same proclamation was made, and the Supreme Court even said that they are basing their judgment on precedent. So why is this one now being set aside? But again,
okay.
Let me just give you one more.
Okay.
Just one more.
Okay.
Again, are you now through your judgment encouraging criminality in this country in terms of the forfeiture of some sum of money due to a crime that have been committed, of which people are paying Bamidele, the only testifier for APC and Mr. Tinubu, affirmed that incident, affirmed that judgment, and you are now saying it is over 10 years, and of which this present CJN, who when he was a justice of the Supreme Court, once proclaimed that there can be forfeiture without criminality, and that our constitution doesn't have room for what do you call it now again? For indemnity. And as such, judgment on criminality as regards forfeiture must be maintained. You are now saying so that means anybody can commit a crime, kill, maim, kidnap, or even go to the bank vault and steal, run away. Then after 10 years, that person can now come back to be our president. Is that what you are now saying?
Okay.
These are issues that perhaps make Atiku to say that he will not be part of this shenanigans.
Okay. You said the 25% Abuja and okay, but from the tribunal judgment that took place, the judges said, the people in charge, they said that, and I quote, that INEC is in charge of everything. The INEC, they have the right to do what they know is right. They don't have anything to
against
stand
the Constitution.
That was what they said in their words. In their words.
Is the and the question is INEC existing outside the Constitution? That's the big question for that particular proclamation. Is INEC? I mean, Nigerians, we are not fools. Is INEC existing outside the Constitution? Is our Constitution no more supreme? Are we now saying the sanctity of our Constitution is irrelevant? If that is the case, then perhaps you allow me to say, rest in peace, Nigerian Constitution.
Okay, so wait, there's another thing that came up about the Kashim Shettima petition and everything they brought to him that before the election, and they said again, and I quote, that was a pre-election thing. If they wanted to have a judgment on that, they would have brought it before the election. But when the election have taken place, there's nothing they can do about it. That this is post-election era and post-election judgment. They cannot do anything pre-election.
Are you also aware the judgment on this against PDP and its candidates, that the Federal High Court said it is a post-election matter, that PDP ought to have brought that thing up after election? Are you also aware of that judgment? So what are we now talking about? In the Constitution and the electoral law, we have pre-election matters. That is to say, only the party members can take such to the court because it is affecting them. But post-election matter, whatever happened during the elections that an opponent has seen as an infringement, either through the party or whatever, can now be brought to court. And that is what we call post-election matters. So what are we talking about now? Why should we, because of a single person, determine the stipulations of our Constitution, the sanctity of our Constitution? And we now say Nigeria is a banana republic? Is that what we are saying? You know what? Are watching. And it's so unfortunate that those of us that relate international will now be a laughing stock to the international community.
Will not be a laughing stock to the international community. Okay, looking at this article and Obi, they say they are heading to the Supreme Court. They say it's just a special article. Article is more vocal than Obi at the moment, and it's saying that it's just judgment has been passed, justice has not been passed
served.
yet.
Okay.
So what do you think about it? Do you think going to Supreme Court will solve this? Do you think it's just going to be a back and forth? And APC is saying that they will be defeated once again.
Article's attitude ever since has been a kind of exhibition of political maturity and amiability as against the boisterousness of some others. But the thing other way around, if it had been Atiku that was declared the winner since, and then he was sworn in without going to court, will Nigeria have been the same the way it has been?
What do you mean with Nigeria have been the same?
Wouldn't have been series of orchestrated crises in the country? Wouldn't it have been? I also listened to articles. I listened to articles press conference yesterday. It was not forceful in anything. Rather, telling his supporters, timid supporters, to keep the hope alive, and then don't do anything that will cause chaos in the country or anything that will go against our constitution. For him to now say, okay, he will be going to Supreme Court, shows the kind of political constitutionality that he practices, rather than all these agberoic kind of politics.
Dr. Kayode.
All these jaga and chaotic politics. It doesn't believe in violence. I remember sometimes ago that some people were claiming that if the results of elections should go against them, they will make the country ungovernable. The baboons and dogs will be licking the blood of Nigerians on the street. You never heard Atiku saying that ever since. You never heard Atiku telling the international community, international observers, that they will be picking them with body bags. You never heard him saying that. So these are issues, and that is the way I want us to look at the next step that Atiku is out to take.
Okay. I mean, let's digress from Atiku a little bit now. Let's talk about Labour Party and then Peter Obi's prayers now, Dr. Kayode. And then, how best would you rate the Labour Party's legal team in this defense, really? And then considering all of their prayers and then what the judges actually said, and that most of their prayers were not prayers they were supposed to bring to the tribunal for judgment. How would you rate the Labour Party's legal team?
Yes, no doubt about it. Labour Party had also taken their grievances to the tribunal with facts and figures that we are all aware of, to the extent of even going to that tribunal with television sets to show the whole world that, listen, these were the words of the chairman of INEC going into the election, that results will be transmitted through IREF in real time. In real time. I remember I was on a platform and we commented on that particular statement of the chairman of INEC, and I even advised Nigerians that, listen, if this man is saying this as the chairman of INEC, I think our coming election will be credible. It will be fair. And there will be a level playing ground. But unfortunately, during the game, INEC changed the goalposts. And the people, to that extent, I think cannot fathom the reasons being brought up now by the tribunal led by Justice Samani. As regards that, because those things were proven. Even INEC came to the court with some results that are blood.
Yeah, they said they didn't state the polling units and the wards.
Now the question is, why did the tribunal not allowed live coverage of that process? And now at the end of the day, you are now allowing a live broadcast of your judgment delivery. You see, these are part of the things that is telling me and telling Nigerians that I can qualify with this Yoruba adage. That is to say, there is nobody that doesn't know how to keep the meat in the mouth and for it to disappear. If it disappear, or you are asking me to share a meat between the two of us with my mouth, definitely I will keep some inside my mouth. And that is exactly what has happened. And I think the best thing to do is to go to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
Which is the final arbiter as being dictated by the constitution of the land.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Kayode. That's the time we have here on the News Info Review today. It was great having you. You know that we always give us insight and in-depth analysis on politics. Thank you so much, Dr. Kayode. We appreciate your presence here today with us.
I appreciate you too. Thanks for having me this morning, and I wish you a pleasant weekend ahead.
Yes, have a pleasant weekend as well. Enjoy.
Thank you.